You open the chat before your shoes are off. The screen glow makes the room feel smaller. Yesterday they felt close. Today the same space feels empty. You were not ignored exactly. You were left unsure. Why can online closeness hurt after it just felt warm? The strange part is how fast your body believes it. One message hits like a chair pulled near. A voice note feels like someone staying beside you. A fast reply feels like proof. Then the pace changes. The quiet part starts. This is not just connection, it is closeness without shared ground. You notice the pale edge of the charger as the screen stays awake. The hard part is not that it was fake. The hard part is that it was partial, and your body treated it as whole. On the bright kitchen counter, a clean mug circles one ring on the table. You replay one soft message. Not because it says anything new, because it once felt like a place. The reply box stays blank. You do not miss the sentence. You miss the version of yourself who felt chosen by it. At the train platform, daylight sits on the yellow safety line. You catch yourself checking the same thread before boarding. They once answered during the smallest parts of the day. Now the train doors open and there is nothing to hold. It feels embarrassing because no promise was made. Still, your mood moves as if something was taken back. A few people stand near the office pantry shelf, half busy and half available. Someone mentions a weekend plan. You smile at the paper cup in your hand and realize something sharp. The person online knows your tired thoughts, but the people around you know your actual Tuesday. That gap has a name here: borrowed nearness. It is the feeling of being close because access was easy, fast, and warm. It sticks because it is not imaginary. There really was contact, but borrowed nearness can arrive before real steadiness has had time to form. You see the laptop hinge catch morning light, and the whole pattern gets simpler. Online closeness can outrun real trust. That is the line your body keeps learning late. One reason it hurts is that the screen removes the weight of arrival. Nobody has to cross town. Nobody has to sit with your silence after a hard sentence. The closeness comes clean and fast. It feels pure, partly because it has not been asked to carry much yet. In the supermarket freezer aisle, your fingers rest on the cold handle. You remember telling them something you rarely say out loud. It felt safe because the cart, the lights, and your ordinary life were far away from the confession. Now you stand beside frozen boxes, wondering why a digital person can feel closer than everyone in reach. At a family table, cousins pass a serving bowl across the narrow space. Nobody is cruel. Nobody is missing you on purpose. Still, your attention keeps leaning toward the absent chat. That is when it turns. The warmest person can become the least available one. Online closeness often builds from tiny permissions. One late answer, one private joke, one message sent before anyone else wakes. You notice the soft rectangle of light on your blanket and think it means priority. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it only means you were reachable at the same hour. But that is not the real reason. The pain grows because your mind starts filling the missing context. It imagines tone, history, loyalty, and future access from a few bright pieces. That is when the screen feels bigger than the relationship. At a small clinic waiting area, your thumb hovers over the voice note again. The plastic chair presses the back of your legs. You do not want advice from it. You want proof that the closeness still exists. A stranger coughs into a sleeve. You suddenly feel lonely in public. The signature moment is smaller than anyone would expect. An earbud case sits open on your knee. Your thumb pauses above replay. Your face goes still because you already know the message by heart. The immediate consequence is quiet shame. You are not chasing information. You are returning to a doorway that only opened from one side. And this is where it changes. You realize the ache is not only about them, it is about the version of closeness the format offered. Fast access made care look constant. A warm exchange made rhythm look reliable. The frame gave your hope too much evidence. In a shared work lounge, you watch someone place a lunchbox beside their laptop. They know the name of the person beside them. They know how tired that person looks today. You know someone online in a different way. You know their midnight thoughts, but not how they leave a room. Borrowed nearness is not a lie. It is a short bridge. The mistake is treating it like solid floor. At the pharmacy shelf, your hand stops between two small boxes. A new message finally appears. It is kind. It is normal. It is shorter than before. Nothing bad happened, but your chest drops anyway. That is the sharper recognition. Sometimes the hurt comes not from rejection, but from the return of ordinary distance. Distance online can feel personal because the old warmth left a trace. You notice the glass door reflecting your face beside the aisle light. The person may still care. They may only be busy, but your body compares today to the fastest version of them. In the apartment stairwell, you carry a delivery bag and stop halfway up. You think about sending a lighter message, something easy. Then you do not from pride, from fatigue. You are tired of making the closeness reappear by performing calm. The harder part comes later. You begin to notice which closeness survives ordinary timing. Some people are warm only inside speed. Some warmth stays warm even when life slows it down. At a community tech table, 3 people sort small cable ties into clear bins. No one is dramatic. Hands move. Chairs scrape back. The scene feels almost boring, and that is the point. Real closeness often has a boring container. It knows where to put delay, awkwardness, and silence without turning them into a verdict. By evening, the chat looks less like a place and more like a signal you kept leaning toward. You notice the dark reflection on the tablet glass. You can still value what happened. You do not have to make it bigger than it was. There is relief in that. Not clean relief, just a small loosening. The closeness was real in one direction, one format, one season. So when it hurts later, it does not prove you were foolish. It means your body received warmth faster than life could confirm it. You notice the charger unplugged beside the bed, and the quiet feels less like failure. It feels unfinished. That is the unresolved part. Some online closeness becomes a real bond. Some remains a bright, temporary crossing. The ache begins when you ask one to behave like the other. You are allowed to remember the warmth without turning it into a contract. It was real contact, not full closeness.